Hi, everybody. I'm Eddie G. This is Bay's Showcase, and no, you are not mistaken. Today, we have a big celebrity here with us, and I'm not kidding. If you are as interested in this hobby sphere as I am, or as a bunch of us are, you already know who the legend, the GOAT, the one and only is. We've got Rock Sandy in the building. Rock, please tell everybody where you have social media accounts, what type of content you do, where they can find you, and maybe chit chat with you if they get a chance.
Oh, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the warm welcome. I am not a celebrity by any means, but I really appreciate the compliment. But yeah, I do commentary and drama or news coverage on my YouTube. Aside from that, I do have an Instagram, which I post pretty regularly. Maybe I showcase my cards and etc.
Hmm.
But aside from that, I feel like Instagram and YouTube is basically my main kind of platforms. And obviously, you could just search me up, Rock Sandy, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I really appreciate you for coming
Cool.
on. I'm honored, and yeah.
Well, there's a third account I think you have. It starts with a D. Discord.
Oh, of course, yes. I have a Discord as well. I completely forgot about that. If you guys want to join and revive it, please do. Uh,
I am one of the people in the Discord. 3 times a week, it seems I'm posting on the promote yourself section. I'm like, we're doing this today. We're doing this today. Today, I was very fortunate to be able to post. Rock Sandy's gonna be here. It was freaking
no, I
epic. It was
appreciate
freaking
it.
awesome. I feel like I finally made it. I'm finally in. All right. So we here we're collecting channel. Obviously, the biggest thing I focus on in this channel is Pokemon. That is the main thing that I like to collect. Packs I get mostly are for Pokemon to rip. However, we do showcase a bunch of other stuff. We like Yu-Gi-Oh, Lorcana. We love Hot Wheels. We love Funko Pops. Pretty much a bunch of different pop culture
Mhm.
collectibles. We've
Yeah.
also opened a bunch of other TCG sets, some unknown TCG sets, some old TCG sets, and we have been getting into La Boo Boos. That's right,
Ooh,
dude. They
that looks
freaking
pretty
got me.
cool.
They freaking got me.
It's the first time I'm ever seen that actually.
Dude, these things are awesome. I don't know way too much info on them. I'm still getting kind of new into it, but it does seem that it is something that was made popular. I think the creator is from Korea, but it's from Pop Mart, which is like a store from China, and they have these little blind boxes, right? This is another one of the ones I got. This one's pretty cool. They
That's
have these little
sick.
blind boxes, and you get these little characters out of them. You don't really know what's in them, but a few series, they're the monsters. That's what they're called. They have Labubus,
Oh,
and everybody chases these little things. If it has a tail, it's a Zamomo, and it's the boy. If it doesn't have a tail, it's usually the female, and it's the Labubu.
as a Momo. So is it,
Yep.
it's like I guess like Pokemon figurines,
Um,
except like it's like like in its own like different universe.
Well, they're based on a Nordic fairy tale. So it's actually
Oh,
based on like a real imagine like a fairy creature, right? That was
uh,
from like a different culture that used to be like a thing back then. That's what they're
yeah.
based on. So it's kind of like reviving that legend of that
Oh,
story and
so
it's
it's like
making it
based.
cutesy.
Yeah, it's based on real actually fairy tales and stuff. Like
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
like how Metazoo was based on like cryptids and whatnot.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah, yeah.
what's beautiful about them is they have like a little anime like a series. I haven't really watched it, so this is just based off what I read online when I started looking into these things. And it says that they're always trying to do something good, but it winds up being mischievous and like it backfires. So they're gonna try to like
Okay.
help you, but it's gonna like ruin your day or something. So it's
That's
it's
funny.
really cool. It's really cool.
That's
But
awesome.
again, I
Mhm.
digress. Going back to Pokemon because I do focus mostly on Pokemon. Um, I want to start off by asking you before Pokemon, before all the collecting began, what is the first thing that you remember actually collecting as a kid? Like, I've had people on here, they told me they've collected rocks because as a small child,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
saw a
yeah.
bunch of different rocks, they liked them, so they started collecting rocks as they would go and, walk and explore. What's the first thing you remember? I'm assuming it's not
Hmm.
Pokemon.
You know what? It's actually an interesting question. Nobody has ever asked me that. And to be honest, I don't really remember collecting anything else except,
Oh.
Pokemon or Pokemon cards. I guess, I liked collecting money. I liked, I guess money, But I don't know if you could consider that an actual collection or not. But aside from Pokemon cards, I don't really remember anything else because when I actually got into Pokemon, I was pretty young, so about like eight
Okay.
years old, 9 years old. So I feel like at from that point onward, it kind of sparked my kind of collecting habits. So
Okay.
yeah, I feel like Pokemon was actually the very first one.
Did you start collecting the Pokemon cards before you ever? Well, you haven't played any of the games, right? That's like a recurring thing
No.
on your
Yep.
channel. You
Nope.
haven't actually played
Unfortunately,
the
not. I always get
yeah.
I always get like shit for that all the time.
Uh, I get
Oh
it.
man.
So I played the games when I was little, with the
Yeah.
Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. I remember even the Game Boy SP. But once it went to like the 3DS and on, I stopped playing the games. I never played the Scarlet and Violet games. So
Okay.
for me, Scarlet and Violet, I never played the games for Scarlet and Violet. Never really saw the anime for Scarlet and Violet either. So
Hmm.
for me, Scarlet and Violet is just the TCG.
Yeah.
That's what I know for Scarlet and Violet. The Scarlet and Violet block for the TCG era, which is one of the eras that I've collected the most in. I'm
Mhm.
not saying I have a really big collection for Scarlet and Violet. I mean, Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield is the one I've collected the most.
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet is the second era I've collected the most. I had to correct myself there. Just remembered about Sword and Shield. I'm sorry. Sorry. Out of
Sword and
print.
Shield is a great era, man. I can't
Yeah.
blame you. That's definitely one of the biggest eras that I kind of uh collected, honestly. It's just I
Yeah.
feel like it's like, man, out of all the eras that comes to mind, Sword and Shield is definitely one of the most monumental ones. And
Yeah.
obviously now people are starting to like Scarlet and Violet, but when it first came out, people were like, "Yeah, what is this? What is this EX? I've seen this before. Oh, look at these
Yeah.
like hollows in these packs. Ew, disgusting. Oh, these cards. Look at the texture. What they've done to it. Listen. I at first the Scarlet and Violet era, I wasn't really a big fan of it, but after like the second, third set, I was like, wow, I was thoroughly impressed with the arts. But it is kind of funny like how public
Mhm.
perception can easily change
Yeah.
throughout like the months or years. Because like I remember Scarlet and Violet just not being popular at all, and now
Oh, I
every
agree.
single person just wants it. It's great. It's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah. For Scarlet and Violet, I agree. I wasn't too crazy on Scarlet and Violet base, and
Hmm.
Paldea Evolved I thought was cool because I did like the IRs and SIR cards out of it. I love them because of the fact that there's so much art on the actual card. It's not like half of it and then a text
Yeah.
box. It's pretty much like the full art or like an alt art. Um, but once Obsidian Flames came out, oh boy, I was happy for
Mm.
Obsidian Flames because I'm a Charizard sucker. So I was like, I'm gonna chase me that Charizard. I wasn't too
Right.
crazy on the hats at first, but
Hmm.
when I what and that was when you see the scans and all the leaks for that Charizard card at first. But
Yeah.
once I saw it in person, I'm like, ooh, you're looking fine.
It was a pretty decent Charizard card. As a Charizard, I guess hater, I was like, that looks like a pretty good card. I wouldn't mind having that.
hmm but yeah, so we like collecting a bunch of different things. I know now since we asked you, you started out with Pokemon,
Yeah,
um, and then you said that's what kicked off your whole like collecting habits, the
yeah,
whole 9 yards on it. Um, what else do you like to collect? Like, what other things have you looked into? Because I know you've opened up some White Schwartz cards. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Yes.
I love White Schwartz. I love One Piece.
Ooh, One Piece.
I've been also getting into Union Arena. But aside from Pokemon, I feel like One Piece is definitely.
One Piece.
I feel like One Piece got its second place
Do
in
you
my heart,
have
at least.
Do you have a giant Nami collection?
You know what? Close. I have a boa collection. I
Mm, that's pretty
have a
cool.
boa collection. But yeah, I just really love One Piece. It's great. And then when I feel like I'm getting bored of One Piece, I switch to, White Schwartz. Like for
Okay.
example, I just got like 3 boxes of the new Dandadan White Schwartz set. So
Ooh,
that's gonna be very cool. I mean, it was a steal, like 30 bucks per booster box. Like hell yeah. Oh, I'm taking that.
that's
Jeez.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's those two main things right now. Aside from that, you know, I don't really recall anything else. I like collecting figurines, but that's kind of
Oh,
like
okay.
their whole separate things. If we're talking about outside of the
Well,
TCG,
that's the thing though. When I say collecting, oh, I mean everything because I showed
yeah,
you. I've got little
yeah, yeah,
figurines
yeah.
with me. I've got all sorts of things right here. I've got little Hot Wheels and little
Nice.
die-cast cars. This one's not a Hot Wheels. This is a different one. This one's actually from Greenlight Collectibles. This is the Impala from Supernatural, the 1967 Impala Super Sport that Sam and Dean have in the show. This is that one.
That's sick.
Yeah, and it actually
Nice.
has like a little thing in the bottom that says it's the car from Supernatural. It actually came with like the Blu-ray set back in the day.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
actually pretty sick. I wish I would gotten into some Hot Wheels, but it's just something that just never intrigued me, I guess. But
Yeah.
honestly, that's pretty sick. I feel like that's like the OG kind of Pokemon collecting, back in the day.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, Pokemon, its predecessor for me, will always be
Hmm.
sports cards. Before
Yeah, sports
Pokemon
cards. Yeah.
cards were a thing, I always remember people talking about hockey cards, baseball
Hmm.
cards,
Yeah, yeah,
football
yeah.
cards. You get me? I wasn't really into the sports cards when I was a little kid, but I
Hmm.
remember seeing like some people that had hockey cards, and I was like, bro, look at all the colors, look at the
Yeah.
shiny things, and I always thought it was amazing. But then Pokemon came out, and I'm like, this I like.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
I never got into like the sports cards either. It just never interested me. I feel like Pokemon is just it has like it's just too iconic, and it just like the whole theme is just very catchy, especially for a younger person. Like,
mhm,
well, when you're young, like, oh, sports, that's what your dad is into. Like, it's just nothing
yeah,
too interesting. But like Pokemon, something that you could catch, like a monster that could catch in a ball.
mhm,
That sounds intriguing.
yeah.
So yeah, I
That's
love it.
why that's why I was always a big fan of Charizard, dude, as a kid. And I
Hmm.
know it's like basic bitch level, but you know what? It's fine. We need basic bitches, and I'll be one of them. Dude, think about it this way. You're a little kid, right? You're watching this. To me, it was a cartoon. We could call it a cartoon or anime. For me, Saturday morning cartoons. I
Yeah.
call it a cartoon sometimes. I call it an anime at other times. It depends. But right now, I'm gonna refer to it as a cartoon. So you're a little
Okay.
kid. You're waking up. You're excited as shit. It's Saturday morning. You flip the TV on, right? You see Ash. He's about your age. You're like, you could relate, right? And
Yeah.
then what's he do? He releases that Pokeball, and out comes out this fucking pocket dragon, dude, that he could just hit you right on. Fly me away. Use
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
flamethrower. Melt everything. You get me? It was so amazing to me. The idea behind it, this big freaking dragon that I can just have and control, and the power of this little ball that gets small, and I just put it on my in my pocket or on my belt. Like, dude, like I feel like that's that's what drew me in.
Mhm.
That feeling, that like that wonder, that excitement, that what if? Oh, if I have a freaking Charizard, what if I have a water guy? If I come across this, I
Yeah.
can
Yeah. Yeah.
help fix this situation. You get me? And it makes you start thinking about like different problems that exist in the real world and how you could solve them. I always feel like that kind of tied into it. Like you're
Yeah.
watching Pokemon and you see them have an issue. For this episode, this is the problem. We have to overcome it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
watching it as a kid, and you're like, "How are they going to do it? How are they going to do it?" And you find out how they do it, and you're like, "Oh, I could have thought of that." And it just helps you like continue
Yeah.
thinking and
Yeah.
brainstorming and stuff. I love it, dude. I love it.
Yeah, you visualize yourself in their shoes. It's
Mhm.
I honestly I can understand like the Charizard like and at a certain point I like Charizard when I was a, when I was a kid or still well technically I am adult now but like when I was younger I actually like Charizard but I feel like I guess culturally seeing like how much hype it got and
Yeah.
how much like it felt like it was getting too much hype so obviously I felt like I wanted to rebel a little against that so
Yeah. I get
I
it.
guess it's more of a reaction to how popular Charizard has gotten,
Yeah.
but I could totally understand why people like Charizard. It's he's freaking sick, I can't deny
Yeah.
that. He's awesome.
Yeah, and I always felt like Ash's Charizard just didn't give a fuck. Like he was just always pissed and rebelling. You get
Yeah,
me? Like he
yeah.
was always like, "I'm doing it my way."
Yeah, my way or the highway. No, I
Yeah,
love them.
yeah. Um, but touching back onto the Pokemon hobby, currently, do you just collect for the TCG for like binder sets? Because I know you have a binder company, which we're gonna touch on in a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. But do you currently just collect for binder sets or like for slabs, or do you also play the TCG currently? Do you have a wide assortment of decks or one specific
So
deck?
unfortunately I do not really play the TCG. I just the closest I've gotten was playing the Pocket app, which is
Okay.
really fun. I was addicted for a little bit, but mainly I just collect the cards that I find like cool. I just really like it. I may
Nice.
a few Pokemon that I like, for example, Mewtwo. I really like that. Cosmic Eclipse Alt Arts, fantastic. Absolutely love that. Yeah, honestly, just in general, just collecting cards that I want. I feel like I do that. I do similar things in my collecting habits in other TCGs, like One Piece, White Schwartz. I just buy stuff that I really like. I like
Yeah.
Boa. I'm gonna collect, Boa. Oh, I like Nami. I'm gonna collect some Nami cards.
Yep.
I'm very I guess like free when it comes to collecting. I collect sealed product as well.
Okay.
If maybe for investing purposes as well as just like I just really like having sealed product. Although I may
It looks
break
nice.
down sometimes and just freaking open it. Uh,
Yeah.
I feel like
Uh,
that's the con of having sealed product. It's very
yeah.
hard to keep sealed. Should I open
It
it or should I keep it sealed?
Big shout out to Pat, right? I agree with you. I love how sealed product looks. It just looks so nice. So imagine having a couple of shelves where you just have nothing but ETBs lined up and stocked, and it looks just like a store shelf. Something
Yeah.
about that just appeases my OCD.
Yeah.
Everything lined up, everything squared away nicely. The color scheme maybe being worked out in a specific manner. It's great, but how you said though, I'm always wondering what's in the packs.
Yeah,
What's inside
exactly.
that one? Like I've I've had the itch before, and I've just gone and broken down and torn all those packs open. So I know exactly what it's
Oh
like.
no.
Where you're
That's
just
tough,
like
man.
you start chasing. You know what I mean? Like you're like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't get nothing. It's cool. One more box. One more box.
The what if.
Yeah.
The what if really kills it, man. It's the what if.
Yeah. Actually, so check it out. This is funny. I have a what if story. What'd you pull came up in the chat right now a little bit
Hmm.
ago. He had commented when you were talking about One Piece. He said the One Piece is real.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
what'd you pull is actually somebody that I know in person. I actually have met him in
Oh
person.
nice.
He lives in my state, but he's a few counties over. So
Hmm.
it's a couple hours drive away. But we've actually gone to San Diego and hung out where Deep Pocket Monster has had a couple
Oh
of
nice.
events. Sorry, I got tongue tied there. Where he's had
You
a
good?
couple of events and stuff. So I've kicked it with What'd You Pull, and at a couple of these events they have trade nights and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So I've taken sometimes I've taken sealed product where I'm like, okay, I'll either trade this off because I don't have like my binder set up or something, or I'll
Hmm.
sell it because they'll buy sealed product usually at about 80% for those trade nights. And then I'll just use that to get some other singles or get some other packs, have fun with it
Yeah.
there at the
Of
event.
course, yeah.
So one time I went and I had these three tins that had they were three evolution tins, but we didn't know what packs were inside because they were sealed.
Yeah.
And this was around the time that I think Target had come out with a second wave of them. So the original ones had Evo Skies. The second wave I think had Scarlet and Violet base. Like that's one
Yeah.
of the packs I can remember. And I was trying to get rid of the tins at the event. The vendor said before I buy them, I'd have to open them. And he's like, if they're Evil Skies, I'll pay you what I said I'll pay you. But if they're not, I'm not gonna buy them. And then I'm like, but then they'd be open and it'd like defeat the whole fact that they're like sealed tins. So I
Yeah.
actually traded a couple of those tins off. And What'd You Pull is one of the people that got one of the tins. I think he got one
Nice.
or two of them. And this is the crazy thing. So he gets one of them and he's wondering, so is it Evo Skies or is it Scarlet and Violet base? I think we traded the tin for cards.
Hmm.
He opens up the tins, hoping it's Evo Skies. Wound up being Scarlet and Violet base.
Oh no.
But he opened up the pack and he pulled the Gardevoir.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So in that pack alone, he pulled like basically like the number one hit for the
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet base set at the time. And it was wild. And I think the rest of the packs from within it also had some bangers in it, dude. It was crazy. It was phenomenal. So
I love that Garnivore EX.
yeah.
That's like so good. It definitely grew on me. At first I didn't think too much of it, but after time went on, it's just like the whole lineup of Garnivore, Curlia, and Rolts, absolutely just stunning. Honestly, I would frame it up and put it on my wall. It's that good.
I like that whole lineup. I like it where there's two or three cards in a set and they make a story. Usually it's three, right?
Yeah.
It's the three evolution cards. Would is actually in the chat. He said I got three from you that day, and I still have one of them sealed.
Oh,
Okay, so he
gotta
got
open it.
he got all three then. But I know he opened one at the event. So Justin, did you open the other one after the event? Like I think he opened one up on his channel because he has an Instagram where he posts up content.
Mhm.
I think I might have seen that, but I'm not too sure. But yes, it's good to have him here in the chat, so he was able to confirm. So he got all three of them. Yeah, because those three evolutions, I think it was Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon. And yes,
Yeah.
Rock, I said Vaporeon.
Whoa, you got me hooked. I'm very interested now.
Yeah. Dude. So how extensive is your Vaporeon collection? Really?
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna cat's out of the bag here. I actually I don't particularly like Vaporeon that much. Okay,
Oh!
it's that's a shock gasp. That's a plot twist, but it's mainly just for giggles and it's
I
I'm
get
just
you.
joking about it.
Yeah.
I don't. The Vaporeon's cool, but there's definitely a lot more evolutions that I like a lot better, such as Sylveon. I just really like the design. Espeon, Leafeon as well. Umbreon, I liked, just got too much hype, so I can't like it anymore. I like being a contrarian. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, not. I don't have too much of a Vaporeon collection.
I actually love Sylveon, dude. I think
Hmm.
Sylveon. So when we're talking about artwork for Pokemon and the TCG, I think
Yeah,
Sylveon has had some of the greatest artwork out of all the evolutions. It always has really soft colors. It always looks really peaceful, really happy. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like it's like a serenity vibe. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I
It's
love it.
very serene and peaceful. I That's why I kind of like Sylveon. It's just like just so majestic and just like serene. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if I had to pick a second one, man, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really do like Vaporeon. Because Vaporeon to me, the face, it just looks like a cat, like a
Yeah,
kitty cat. And I actually have two cats now. Actually, I gotta do a world debut. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna show you the new cat that we just got over the weekend.
sure, sure. What's up, iFOMO, Pidgey Boys, Shug Nasty? He's a fake. No, I'm not a fake. Okay, listen, it's true. It's true. I'm not obsessed with Vaporeon. Okay, I'm not. I'm definitely not obsessed with Vaporeon. Okay, shut up. Okay, I'm trying to save
So,
myself here. Okay, I'm
so
trying to
you're
get
gonna
rid of the
meet
allegations.
you're gonna meet Lilith. She is 4 weeks old, and I just got her on Sunday.
Aww, that's so cute. Look at her. Oh man, that's so adorable.
Yep.
Dang, I wish I had a cat. Aw.
My other cat is super jealous. So I have a short-haired Russian blue.
Oh,
She's gonna turn
nice.
3 in October. So she's I don't know how old she is. She's over 2, and she's not 3. We brought this little munchkin home
Hmm.
on Saturday. So it's been 2 days. Nikita has been mad and growling at me 24/7
Oh,
for those last 2 days, and she wants to hunt this little munchkin down, but we're keeping them separated. We're protecting this little one. She's gonna eventually get over it, but Nikita is the baby. She was the lonely child
yeah,
until
yeah.
we got a dog, but the dog stays separate from the cat because they hate each other. And now I got two
Understandable.
cats in a room, but this one's the baby, so we're keeping Nikita like at bay for now. But usually in the channel, Nikita's who comes out. And actually, since you have me on Instagram too, if you look at any of the things I posted, you'll see like two
Mhm.
or three things. I've only had like 6 or 7 posts, but two or three of them are Nikita. So you'll see the gray cat. That's Nikita.
Nice, dude. The Russian blues are gorgeous. I love them.
You want to hear?
If there was a like a cat, I would get definitely a Russian blue for sure.
You want to hear the story of how I got Nikita, the Russian blue?
Sure.
Ah, dude. So check it out. Before I start the story, I got her when I got an oil change at Ford.
Oh wow, what are the odds of that?
Yeah, so there's a story, but I always start off with that because it's a shocker. You want? Huh? No, I don't know where Nikita's at right now. Do you want? Okay. Well, I'm gonna get into story time here. I'm gonna give her to Mama. There you go. All right. So we had two Fords at that time. My wife had a Ford Fusion. I had my Ford
Mhm.
Mustang at the time. Both of them had to get serviced. So we dropped both of them off or whatever. They gave us a call that her car was ready. So we went to go pick up her car. As I'm talking to the service rep, he just asks me out of the blue, "Hey man, do you like cats?" And I'm like, "The fuck?" Like,
Yes.
like I kind of give him a puzzled look, and he's like, "Cats, like kitty cats." And I'm like, "All right, like what about him?" Like I
Yeah.
never had a pet at that point,
Yeah.
so I didn't feel either way about him. He tells me, "Follow me," takes me to their little like office, right? And there's a
Hmm.
fucking box, and it's like under like a heat lamp, and I hear little meows. There's like I think five or six cats inside a little
Oh,
box. And he tells me that they were servicing a highway patrolman's vehicle that dropped it off for service. They
yeah.
heard something in the back. They checked it out. They saw the box of cats. So they hit up the cop, and they're like what's up with the box, right? So he says as he was driving on patrol, he found that box in the middle of the street. Like somebody just abandoned it in the middle of the street, just left him there
Oh,
to die.
that's sad.
But he put him into his cruiser. I think he was gonna take him to the station or something, but he got called, told to drop off the vehicle, forgot about the
Hmm.
cats. So they're like, "What do we do?" He tells them, "Just give the cats away." I didn't know a thing about cats. I see this box. Dude tells me, "Do you want a cat?" After he tells me, how they got him,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, so I look, I'm like kind of like iffy on it. I was living at an apartment where I couldn't have a cat at the time. I couldn't
Yeah.
have a pet, period, but especially a cat. Um, And I look into the box, and out of all the cats, the Russian blue was the only one that had a gray coat, and she had her eyes open, and they were blue. So I thought
Oh.
she looked gorgeous. And my Mustang was gray, so I'm like, "That's gray, like my car. Like I want it." So I asked, "Has anyone claimed that little gray one with the blue eyes?" Because the other ones still had their eyes closed. So
Yeah.
she was the only one that had her eyes open, and she was about 2 weeks old at the time. Um, they said no. So I was like, all right, let me go talk to my wife. We got to come back for the Mustang. Give me like a couple hours to figure this out. So I go, I talk to my wife. I'm like, hey, look, they have these little cats. It's little. It fits in the palm of my hand. I'm like, I want it. Like I've never had one, but we're weighing our options. We can't have it at the apartment. If they find out, we can get kicked out. And I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna do it anyways. so she,
Nice.
so she's like, let's go for it. Let's go get it. Right. So they hit me up for my car. We go back, and I tell the guy, "All right, man, is the little gray cat still there?" And he's like, "Yeah, come on." So they gave me like a little box. They put the cat in there, and I took off with it. I didn't know she was a short-haired Russian blue. I didn't know they're expensive as shit. I literally just got it for free
Yeah.
at the dealership, and she's like a pure Russian blue. Like she has no mix in her, and
Wow.
and it's a female. And yeah, so I got her, took her home, and she's been with us ever since. I named her Nikita because she's Russian. It just seemed right, you know what I mean? And
That's great.
I never got her fixed, never took her to the vet. She's just been an indoor cat her whole life. She's never gotten
Nice.
sick or anything. I've tried to take her like outside, like where I want to carry her, and she gets really scared and anxious. So she's
Yeah.
just like a house cat, you know what I mean? But
Gotcha.
she's the princess, she's the queen, and she knows this is all her house. And now there's another little kitty cat, and she's walking around smelling that, the other little kitty cat, and she's angry because she's like, "Why'd you let another little kitty cat in?"
Oh, she jealous. She
Yeah.
jealous. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's very touching. I would like to have like a cat as well, but my family is rather allergic to them, so yeah, I've got that. The closest we got was a toy poodle since they're
uh,
hyperallergenic. So
well, short-haired Russian blues are hypoallergenic. That's why we it
really
turns out we're good because I have relatives that are very allergic to cats, and they've been
nice,
around her, and she doesn't shed. Nikita, this other cat is not going to be hypoallergenic. It's a mix, so
nice,
I'm assuming it's going to be like a normal cat. You know what I mean? But the
interesting.
short-haired Russian blues, we looked into those. No cat is really like 100% like safe for people that are allergic. but
Hmm.
some species or breeds are better than others. Theirs is considered to be one of them. But I would say
Wow.
fact check me and still do your research. But
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
it might work out, Rock. It might work. They're
Obviously,
so great.
obviously, I feel like the most hyperallergenic cat is the ones that are just like skin. You
Oh
know, just
yeah.
like yeah, I think what are they called? Shinks,
Um.
Shinkses. Uh,
l-
I
yes.
forgot. I
I.
forgot what
It might
exactly
be
the breed is
Shinx.
called.
Yeah. It's either that or like it's not Lynx, right? With an L. L. It.
I don't know.
Let me
I don't
see.
know
I can
if
actually look it
it's
up. I have Google open right here. I know that they're very famous. Those hairless cats.
yeah.
Because now I'm gonna be wondering, bro. It is Sphinx. SP
Okay, it's nice Sphinx.
HYNX.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. Nice, nice. Wow, can't believe I remember that.
Those do look. They look interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a fan. Like, listen, no disrespect to them, okay? I'm
Yeah.
just yeah. When I pet like when I pet an animal, I don't want to be petting hair. It's like it's like I'm petting a human. I don't want that. I want
Yeah.
it to be nice, fuzzy, and soft.
And they do look people skin like people skin color.
Yeah, it literally is like a person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, not my thing.
AMPM Pokemon put up his member super chat. We do have memberships, by the way.
Nice.
So members, I think YouTube allows one free member super chat per month. AMPM Pokemon put Boa Hancock is sexy. I collect her as well. Definitely a top notch waifu. What's up, Eddie and Rock? Rock, I would like to know your favorite Pokemon. There we go. There we go. First question of the
Definitely
night.
Definitely has to be Mew or Mewtwo. But I'm kind of more inclined to
Ooh.
say Mew.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
just
like
always
that
liked
choice.
it.
I like
Yeah.
that choice. I
For
have nothing
cards
bad to
though,
say.
I would say Mewtwo because I have a test tube Mewtwo card, which is my probably one of my most favorite cards of all time. So it generally it's Mew, but in the TCG definitely Mewtwo.
Got you, got you. I like that test tube Mewtwo card. I don't have one myself, but I like it.
Oh yeah.
I think out of all the cards I own right now, my favorite one is probably I have one of the Poncho Pikachu Charizard cards, but the
Oh
baby
really?
Poncho Pikachu, not the full
Nice.
art, the one with the text box.
Nice.
It was Mecha Tokyo something something promo. I forget how it's called completely. To me, it's just baby Poncho Pikachu Charizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, right now that's probably the favorite card. Out of all my Pokemon card collection, that's probably my favorite one.
Nice.
The Sleepy Dragonite from Evolving Skies. That's
Ooh,
actually one of my favorites as well.
that's a
And I do
solid
have
one.
that. I have it raw, not slabbed, but it's a beautiful card, dude.
Oh yeah. Another one is really good is the Erica's Vileplume from Cosmic Eclipse, the alt art version. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll be honest, I feel like that would be my favorite probably card of all time.
Well, talking about Erica, my um favorite card in the Scarlet and Violet era. Yeah, Scarlet and Violet era. It's actually out of 151. Erica's Invitation, SIR.
That's
That's
a
my
great
favorite
one.
card. Yeah.
That's a nice one, honestly. Hot take though. Almost from maybe it's just for me. I kind of like the regular full art version a little bit better.
It
I
is
don't know. I
nice
don't,
because of the cherry blossoms, right?
yeah, honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like the cherry blossoms really, really impressed me. I was like, wow, that looks freaking amazing.
Hmm. I have that one too. But the SIR is gonna be my favorite. I don't know. I like the scene. Like
Yeah.
just with everything around her, how she's focused in the card. I love how it looks. It and I don't know. I feel like I feel like the colors are a little lighter on the
Hmm.
SIR
Yeah.
versus the full art one, the regular full art one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
colors are a little, yeah.
No, I could understand that for sure. Honestly, both are really, really good. Um, honestly, one now that I'm looking back, 151 definitely has like quite a few bangers. Honestly, the I keep on forgetting Erica's
Yeah.
Invitation is in 151 because it almost feels like a whole separate deal. But yeah, Erica's Invitation, fantastic card. Definitely one of my favorite cards in the 151 set.
The Zapdos also. The Zapdos SIR.
Zapdos is good.
That one hits
Zapdos is solid.
hard.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the Alakazam, I dig the Alakazam. I think I pulled that one either 2 or 3 times. The Alakazam SIR is the one I pulled the most out of all of them.
Solid one. I love the Alakazam.
Let's see. Let me check something really quick out
You're good.
here.
Would you pull says, Rock, do you have a favorite Boa card? Well, glad that you asked that. Because indeed I do. I have a whole page actually. Here you go. Sponsored by obviously Card Prison, but here's that the first heavenly page. You guys can see everything.
Mhm.
And I would say that my favorite card,
Nice.
man, it's difficult because every single one actually looks really good. But it's either this one or this one. Either those two. I'm more although I kind of
I
like
like
this one
that one.
better. Yeah, I kind of like this one better, but I have pull bias because I pulled this in one of the openings that I did. So I don't
Nice.
know. Both of them are really close for me.
All right. So this is what I want to get into now. In this portion of the live stream, I want to get more into you as a
Hmm.
person. So not you as a
Sure.
creator, but you as a person. So the audience gets to know you on a little bit more of a personal level. You get me? It humanizes
Sure.
us, so we're not just that person that they see that's just you as Rock Sandy, but you as an individual.
Hmm.
Um, being one of the youngest creators that's around in this hobby sphere, how has that experience been, my dude? That's my first question. First off, I've got a ton of questions related to this portion. They are
well, the
related to you and your
mhm,
experience, how you feel it, how you perceive it, how you see it,
yeah.
not how others see it. I want to hear it from you directly. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Well, honestly, it's an interesting question because to be honest, I never really put too much thought on it. One reason being because majority of my career has been under an alias and under a mask. I just gameplay that I don't actually play. I just download it through YouTube back in the day. So that's been like the majority of my career on YouTube. So and actually a lot of people thought I was a lot older. A lot of people thought I was like what 21, and a
I
lot of
thought you
people
were in
thought
your
I was
20s.
Asian. Yeah, a lot of thought I was Asian too, which
I
I
did
never got
too.
that.
I did
Yeah.
too. And I'm not trying to be fucked up. I don't know what it
No, no,
was.
no. It's true. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my the way I talk, which I can't understand. I can understand that a little bit, but other than that, I really haven't really thought about it too much. Except probably once I revealed myself, definitely you could see there's like a shift in tone. A lot of times, if I would speak an opinion, people would, attack my age as a way to
Mhm.
discredit my opinion. It's like the oldest trick in a book. So I
Yeah.
never really, you know, minded that at all. I feel like the moment that you try to attack somebody, based on their appearance or physical attributes, and in attempt to discredit an argument, it's like you automatically lose it. So I never
Oh
really
yeah.
got too much. I never thought about it too much. Other than that, though, honestly, it's been a great experience. I haven't really thought about it too much.
Um, I know that you just did your reveal last year. It was a Card Party
Yeah,
2, correct? I
yeah,
was there for Card Party 2. I
yes, sir.
actually got to meet you in person. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was
Um
awesome.
how was that? How was the reveal for you? Were you nervous going into it? Were you excited? Were you like, finally, it's over? We're no
Yeah.
longer hiding behind the mask. They're gonna see my beautiful mug now. What was everything going through your head? And how did it go? And then how has it been? You get me? Give us
Mhm.
all
Yeah,
three
yeah,
sides of it. The before, during, and the
yeah.
after. Let us know the
Well,
experience.
starting out, I was never really against the idea of showing my face on YouTube. It was more or less my family, which I can
Okay.
completely understand that. Uh, when I started YouTube, I was definitely young, so
Mhm.
having my face shown is just not really a good thing, especially on the internet. So I can understand that. But my intention was always to show my face. So when I did the reveal, I wasn't really too nervous. In fact,
Okay.
I was like, okay, let's go. This is the time. Well, if I'm
Nice.
going to card party, might as well, do a face reveal, right? So
Yeah.
I almost did it, out of obligation. If it wasn't card party, I would have probably done the same thing that I normally do. But I feel like card party was a good excuse to finally kind of show who I am. And with that definitely comes a lot of, positives and negatives. The negatives,
Mhm.
as I said, people use that against you. The positives is that, I finally have a face to a name.
Yeah.
And since then, it also has, improved my content. I definitely grew exponentially in
Ooh.
terms of, popularity. Still not incredibly popular, but I feel like I definitely have grew to some extent, which is, I'm very grateful for that. It's not a day that goes by that I'm not. Um, but since then, it's just been an upward trajectory. I can't really complain. It was definitely a learning curve to, look at the camera when I'm talking and
Mhm.
etc. But yeah, it's been great, man. I can't really complain.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that it was a good thing, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I have met some content creators, some of them still haven't revealed their face and they
Hmm.
don't plan on it. There is a little bit of an anxiety behind it for some people. Like you said, you're on the
Hmm.
internet. It's out
Yeah.
there for the world to see. Um Everybody sees your face. If you have a face reveal, they associate it to you. Your channel's always tied to it. If someone feels one way or another, if you come across them, they're not going to be like a new person that you make a first impression on. They're already coming towards you with an impression, and you have to kind of work from there at that point, whether they're
Yeah.
coming at you in a positive manner because they like you and they like your content, and
Hmm.
that's good because it kind of helps you, or it could also be on the flip side bad where they come at you in a negative fashion because,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like what you say on your channel, I stand against it,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna be a hindrance in this way or another, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
um but it's good to hear that it went well.
Yeah.
One of the things I was gonna ask, damn, what was it? Oh yeah, pertaining to card prison. So card prison binder,
Hmm.
let people know about the card prison binder, because my next question is based on that. How has the experience been in the creation of card prison, running card prison, and then turning 18 after? Because yes, you literally like started that and got it
Yeah.
up and running while you were still 17, or
Yeah.
did was it like a longer process? What has it been since
Uh,
you were 16? I don't know how long the R&D
maybe
was, you know what I mean?
it was probably right when I turned around 17, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And
So honestly, it was definitely quite a quite an experience. Like obviously, if you guys don't know, Card Prison is a binder company. I showed this is the wave one, so not wave two or three, but this is the wave one. It holds both top loaded and regular sleeve cards. But when I first got into it, it was definitely a learning curve. I There was definitely a lot of new things to learn. But honestly, it all started from like just a simple like chat in a live stream with Opossum Bud. Honestly, I was just talking with Opossum Bud, goofing
mhm,
around how like sleeves and top loaders were basically, prisons or jail for your cards. And I
yeah,
was like, wait a minute, say that again. There's something to that. That would be a good binder or like sleeve company, right? Like
yeah.
that would be a pretty good idea. And like I think the next day I just I copyrighted the domain. I bought
Oh,
it, and I was like, okay, well, now I have to go and search for manufacturers. So the next, like week or so, I was just like
mhm,
constantly messaging different manufacturers,
nice.
and seeing if they could, bring my idea to life. And after that, I went to trying to figure out how to build a website, which was definitely very painstaking, and it
Mhm,
was just very not enjoyable. But the payoff was definitely huge, and yeah, it's definitely quite an experience, that's for sure. And there's definitely a lot of setbacks as well, ranging from technical difficulties on my
mhm,
website, ranging from manufacturing errors of my binders, which kind of like hindered the process a little bit.
mhm,
But it's just but aside from those things, I will say my experience have definitely been quite positive, honestly, and it went better than expected because
damn.
on other things, I definitely will say that being homeschooled definitely helps to pursue in my business. Which
Mhm,
obviously, if I was in school, I was doing all the other stuff that I'm doing. So big shout out to my parents, and as well as that they're kind of like helping me facilitating an environment where I'm, I guess, prompted to be creative, as well as encouraging me. But I've always been kind of like a self learner. So
Mhm.
when it comes to like manufacturing and building a website and pretty much everything, I pretty much did everything on my own because I just like to be independent. I like to do stuff myself, and if I want to
That's
learn something, I'll just do it.
that's
So
cool. All right, so
yeah,
I definitely got a few questions that sprout off from this
yeah.
portion. First off, do us a little commercial. Showcase the binder. Showcase
Oh,
everybody. What's up with the card prison binder? For sure.
all right.
Like
Well,
sell it, my bro. Sell it. You know what I mean?
okay, okay.
This
I'll
episode is
sell it.
meant to showcase you. That is a big element of you. And I am not against it, my dude. You get
Oh,
me?
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, if you guys don't know, this card prison binders hit fits both top loaded and regularly sleeve cards, as you see right here. This
Nice.
is the version one. The version two, which I do not have in my house yet, but the version two has metal all around, as well as a metal zipper or whatever you like to call this one.
Mhm.
Uh, so that is like the main difference, and the Wave Three is gonna have some minor tweaks as well, which
Nice.
is gonna come out very soon. I would say in the matter of 1 to 2 weeks. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's definitely going to be a little exciting. The Wave Three actually sold out. The Wave Two, I would say, sold out
Oh,
pretty recently. So yeah,
nice.
I know a lot of people were excited about that. But aside from that, yeah, that is the Card Prison binder. If you guys want to go to cardprison.com, make sure you look out for the Wave Three. Sign up for the email list so you're notified when it drops. Yeah,
Nice. I was just about to ask you, how can people find out when Wave 3 releases? I was about to say, do
yeah,
they have to join your Discord? Do they
yeah,
got to
yeah.
add your Instagram? Do they just got to follow the channel? You get me?
Yeah, no,
Uh,
honestly, you just go on the website and just sign up for the email list, and then I'm going to make an new email, or how do you like to call it? News email?
email
Freaking
news
whatever it's
blast.
called. Yeah, email news blast. That's the word. That's the word I was looking for. So, and then you'll get it. You'll get it, and I wouldn't worry about it selling out too quick because I definitely have a lot of inventory,
Ooh.
but it is definitely a lot better than before. I feel like a lot cleaner. However, it will be slightly more expensive
Okay.
due to the tariffs being imposed. So unfortunately got to pay a little bit on that.
We understand.
So yeah, so it might a little bit. It's not going to be too crazy. At least I'm hope. I haven't got billed yet, although I got my binders in. FedEx is just like really like waiting for me. He's trying to teasing me with that bill, which
Yeah.
so. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how you find it. You could go on my socials, uh, Card Prison on Instagram, as well as Roxanne, if you just follow me on Instagram too, because
Mhm.
I always give updates and news surrounding my binders.
Awesome. How much will it be when it releases? Have you already set the price or not yet?
Well, I have an idea of how much because it's depending on how much I'm going to get charged for the
Yeah,
tariff.
I understand.
But I have an idea of how much it will be. I
Hmm.
can't confirm it though because FedEx likes to be sneaky, so I'm not really too sure. But depending on if I imagine it correctly, I think it would be around $40 per binder.
That's
So
definitely not bad. Definitely not bad
yeah,
at all.
so it's
Yeah.
it's a five dollar increase, but I can't promise it. It might
Mhm.
even go more depending on how much I get charged. But I feel pretty confident that it will be about $40 per binder.
Awesome, awesome. Who did you already set up codes? I know last time like Gonzo,
Mhm.
hyper psychic cards, a few people had codes. Who
Yeah,
has
there's
codes
actually a
that
lot
they
of
could apply?
codes. Oh man, like there's like Beard 5 for 5% off if you want to support Pokebeard. There is Ryan 10 for 10% off. There is Dan 5 for 5% off. Great content creator on Instagram. There's Sidekick 10 for 10% off. There's Gonzo 10 for 10% off. There is Starman 10 for 10% off. There is Camera 5 for 5% off. and among probably other things, there's maybe Metri 10 for 10% off as well. A lot. So choose one of them.
All right, awesome, awesome. Well, that's cool. That's amazing. I like hearing good things. The binder looks awesome, dude. I haven't got my hands on one yet. I still have to
Don't
order
worry about it.
mine here in the future. Um, what I was gonna say though, for the card prison binder, how
Mhm.
many total cards and top loaded cards can it hold?
So it should be 288 in total, and
Okay.
half. So there is, I believe, six top loader pages,
Hmm.
and then nine regular sleeve pages. And each page obviously consists of two sides.
Oh,
So
okay.
each page is nine. So each page is probably 16, or sorry, 18 cards. So that's pretty much it. 16 top loaded pages, and sorry, six top loaded pages, and then nine regular sleeve pages. It's hard to
Okay.
keep track which ones.
Damn, that's pretty. It's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. So it could hold
Yeah.
quite a few cards, and
Yeah.
especially I feel like the card prison binder. It has to be like for the special cards. You know,
Oh yeah.
this is for the top tier stuff, baby.
Oh
This is for
yeah.
that stuff that if there's a fire, forget the bulk, forget everything else, forget the normal shit. The card prison binder though, we're saving that in the kittens. Go
Exactly.
ahead and take them.
You know the deal. Yeah, you know it.
uh, yeah. But yeah, dude, it's cool hearing, that at such a young age you're able to get that all started all by yourself. It sounds like it's going amazing. It sounds like it's successful. It doesn't sound like it's a
Appreciate
failure,
it.
obviously. So that's good. Um, I hope it continues for many, many years, and maybe in the future we could have a base code as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
um,
appreciate it though, man. It means a lot.
yeah, and what I was gonna ask was, since you did everything by yourself,
Mhm.
what, like, I know now you said what was the catalyst, which was that whole conversation during a live stream with Opossum Bud.
Mhm.
But what is like the process that you went through to do everything by yourself and ensure everything's done correctly? Like to make sure you have everything properly in place. So like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's just trial and error. And I feel like I'm a relatively, I wouldn't say smart, but I can understand things. So
Mhm.
I make sure that everything is correct. And if I do have some complications, I just do research about what I did wrong. But aside from that, it went a lot smoother than I thought.
Okay.
Considering different things. If there was a website issue, I'd research how to fix it. If there is some binder complications when it
Mhm.
comes to manufacturing them, their errors or something, I figure out how to fix them. And yeah, aside from that, it's been pretty good. I would say it's been relatively smooth.
Mhm.
But I've always been kind of an independent guy, and if I need to fix something, I try to fix it on my own because I just don't feel good relying on others. Because even though like I'm sure they're fine doing it, and they're like, for example, my family, they're completely chill. But I always like to be self dependent, so I just don't disturb them, and just to make sure that I do everything, and also learn as I go.
That's awesome. And then you did mention earlier how being homeschooled obviously did help.
Yeah,
It assisted you with the creation of this because it kind of you're able to manage your time a bit more effectively,
yeah.
right? That's what I
Hmm.
would say. Um, what has that been like? You get me? Like, what is it like being homeschooled? Have you always been homeschooled?
Mm.
Tell us about that. I feel like that's interesting.
Well,
You get me? I haven't really spoken to too many people that have been
hmm,
homeschooled. I know that I've met a couple of friends who homeschool their children, but
yeah.
I've not really asked them too much about it myself. And it is people in different states, so I know the state you're in. I wonder what it's like there for you being
Yeah.
homeschooled.
Well, it's honestly it's amazing. Like I've never really stepped foot inside of a school except for
Ooh.
a Lithuanian school, which is my mother's native language. I went there for a little bit to like kind of brush up on my Lithuanian. But aside from that, honestly, it's shout out to my parents. Really, they're the ones who decided to not take me to school. In some ways, I'm really glad. It does have some drawbacks because I'm not really in contact with a lot of friends, I guess.
Mhm.
It also kind of doesn't help that I move very frequently. It's not really have anything to do with my family being like a part of the military or anything, but it's more or less just because my family just moved all around the world in search of this golden place, and I guess
Mm.
like we kind of feel comfortable that this is the place that we want to stay in. So in spite of that, it definitely was a lot. It was very difficult to find any friends. It still is, but with the drawbacks also are just a lot of pros. For example, having a lot of time on my hands,
Mhm.
and my parents being very although I'm homeschooled, there's like different layers of homeschool. There's people that are strict with homeschool, saying, hey, you got to get your homework done, yada yada, and etc. And then you have like
Yeah.
my parents who says, hey, just study what you want to study, because they have
Nah.
incredible amount of faith in my ability to pursue something.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, I don't know how, if I had a kid, I wouldn't have that much faith in them, to be honest. So I gotta say, a
That's
big shout out to
funny.
my
Yeah.
parents. Like it's really, it's difficult to trust your kid and his ability to pursue stuff. For example, like my brother, he had complications of reading when he was a
Mhm.
kid because he just didn't really want to. But
Okay.
after he did, he started reading like manga or watching anime and
Yeah.
realizing he needs to read subtitles. He just like something clicked in his brain. Okay, now I'm gonna read. So he just learned something. So we're very
Yeah.
interactive and uh, doing things that we want to do. And even right now, aside from I know like the basic math and whatnot and everything, but aside from that, I always want to learn something that will have some sort of benefit to me. For example, I know that if I study, math a lot, it's not really going to benefit me too much in the long term. Although there's definitely some, pros to knowing a lot of these things, I've kind of like I weigh out the pros and negatives of, putting so much time in this and realizing that it wasn't really for I guess, a desired outcome.
I get
And for example, one of the biggest things I like to do a lot is write. So that's kind of like my main gig. Aside from
you.
that,
Mhm.
I really love writing. I love writing stories, and I feel like that was like my main subject for the last couple of years, honestly, because that's the only thing that I'd ever do. Maybe,
Dope.
yeah, and honestly, yeah, it definitely comes with some pros and definitely some with cons as well when it comes to homeschooling. But if I ever have kids, I
Mhm.
would definitely homeschool them because I
That's
don't know.
good.
I feel like in some ways
It
the school
works
system,
better.
yeah, yeah, it just works better, and I feel like depending on how you raise them, it will be a lot more beneficial
Mhm.
because I feel like the school system right now has lost the trust of a lot of people, including my parents as well. So I feel
Mhm.
like I would feel more comfortable in my ability to teach them than vice versa.
Yeah. Let's touch more on how you said you like writing. So
Mhm.
you've been published before, correct?
Yeah, so I do online publishing. I don't really do physical because I feel like physical publishing is kind of like a dying medium. I feel
Mhm.
like the amount of money you have to put in just for maybe a slight success is just not really worth it. That was my goal to begin with, but after realizing and kind of like knowing the whole medium, it kind of discouraged me. So I feel like I'm just more inclined to posting it on online, and there's just
Yeah.
way more like I would say, first of all, you're more free to do whatever you want. You're not constrained by a publisher who says, "Oh, what you can and cannot put in your book."
Mhm.
So that is one thing. And yeah, it just feels way more free, I would say.
So you mean like self-published?
Yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah.
self-publishing, but I do
Okay.
it through other like platforms, like let's say Royal Road, uh, and etc. So that's kind of what I do. I do like chapter by chapter basis. I write
Okay.
chapters bi-weekly, post them,
Oh,
do all the work myself. I also do have it on Amazon as well, but yeah, I
nice.
feel like I feel like that's kind of like the way I kind of wanted it to go, and I've seen a lot of people grow very successful in doing that. So it's kind of like I would say an untapped market, but it's definitely have been tapped before. but
Yeah.
it's a market that I feel like will garner me more success in the long term.
That's cool. That's nice. I had a little thing a while back published on Amazon with Ryan, which is B from Bays. So
Nice.
before we did this whole YouTube thing, we tried writing. We got one thing published with just on Amazon. It was gonna be like the start of a series. It was gonna be a 7-part series, but we only got like one of them published. We
Hmm.
started working on the second one, and we were like, let's work on the third one and like finish the rest before we decide to publish any others. And then we just haven't worked on it ever since.
Oh
It
man,
takes a while. It does take a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
No, it's
But
very hard to kind of pursue something. Like there's many times where I felt like I wanted to quit the story that I'm writing for the past like 2 years. But I always kind of remind myself you just got to stick forward with it, because at the end of the day, no matter what story I'm gonna write, you're always gonna feel like, maybe I should write something else, or maybe I should do something different. You're always gonna be a
yeah.
perfectionist. So
Yes.
I always like to remind myself, like, hey, listen, just pursue it. Don't care if you do some mistakes. Just do it. Honestly.
Yeah. I'll send you a link later on
Hmm.
Instagram,
For
just so
sure.
you can see the preview. Don't buy it, but you can see the
Yeah.
preview. It's a short horror story.
Nice.
I like it. I like it. I'm proud of it.
Hey, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
I'd love to read it.
Yeah. Um, my follow-up question to this, we're gonna bounce now back to a different thing. Card Party 2. That was the big event
Yeah.
that you went to where you did your face reveal. After Card Party 2, you've gone to a few other events, right? Or has it just been
Um.
Card Party 2 and no more events since then?
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like Card Porter 2 was the main one that I've actually participated in. Maybe aside from one Collecticon, but
Mhm.
that was just almost like an experience, for like a personal experience rather than a public one, which Card
Mhm.
Party was. Like there's a lot of fans that came up to me. This I also went to like a Collecticon before I even got really into content creation.
Okay.
But I would say Card Party was definitely the big one that I participated in.
And then you're going to Card Party 3 this year?
Yes, yeah, I'm
One
going to
or
Card Party
both of
3 in Tampa.
Tampa?
I'm
Okay.
not too sure whether I'm going to go to Seattle. It honestly just depends on how Tampa goes, and I'll kind of go from there. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
That's awesome. And you're on the website again as a feature creator this year, I assume?
Yes, I indeed
There
am.
we go.
Honestly, big honor. Thank you, Pat and the team. I really
Mhm.
appreciate it. It really means a lot.
That's cool. I really do hope that you enjoy your experience there, dude. I absolutely loved Card Party 1 and Card Party 2 when I went, so it's an absolute blast, bro. You know what I mean?
It
It's
really
like
is.
it's kind of like going to summer camp with content
Yeah,
creators, because
exactly.
it's you hanging out with a bunch of other content creators. You get to meet a bunch of people. It's just like absolute fun for all 3 days,
Yeah.
and you hardly get any sleep. But I feel like the excitement of everything just kind of keeps you fueled throughout the whole thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. That I
Yeah.
can definitely relate to that. After I came back from Card Party too, I was freaking zonked. And it's funny because like I didn't really feel it too much for the last 3 days when I was there.
Hmm.
But once you kind of like rest down and your dopamine kind of stabilizes, you're like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm tired.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it was cool. Do you plan to go to any other events in the near future, or is Card Party gonna be like the one big annual event that you go to, and that's gonna be like the main one? What are your plans going
Yeah,
forward?
I think the card parties is definitely going to be like the main events that I'm going to go to. I don't know. I feel like I just like it a lot more. Oh, I feel like I have I'm on 5% battery. I feel like card party is definitely going to be like the main events. But aside from that, maybe I'll go to some collecticons.
Okay.
But I feel like card party is just there's a lot more things going on, a lot more content creators go there
Yeah.
that I personally have hung out with and know friends of mine. Uh, yeah, I feel like Card Party is like the more, I guess, more exciting version of Collecticon.
Yeah. I totally get that feeling. I mean, one of my favorite things of Card Party, and This was in Card Party 1 and Card Party 2.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm assuming it's going to be Card Party 3 and everything going forward because this was one of the core things. You don't go and line up to pay the creator to get something signed.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to line up because there's a bunch of people there. But
Yep.
when you get to see that creator, he's like, "You got anything you want me to sign?" You
Yep.
got two or three things. They'll sign those things. They're not going to charge you a dime. They'll take
Yeah.
a picture with you. You're going to have a great freaking time. Like, that
Yeah.
is one of the big differences that I've noticed.
Yeah. I mean, like Cool Tree and Orion, whenever he was walking around, you just have like a flock of people just like saying,
Yes.
"Hey, please, Ryan, can you sign something, please, please, please?"
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
awesome.
and he was giving away slabs and packs and all sorts of stuff too. That was
Yeah, he's
pretty amazing.
goaded. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's great to see.
And then I did want to touch after mentioning Card Party because again, I feel like Card Party 2 is kind of pivotal because
Mhm.
face reveal, you know, it,
Yeah.
and we did touch on that in the beginning. Um, we're gonna get back to the drama videos, baby. What you're
Oh,
famous for. Maybe
oh
people
yeah.
have seen a drama video or two on your channel, right? So
Maybe.
let's dive into that little aspect. So, what got you started on the drama videos with YouTube? Like, what drew you to it in the beginning?
Well, I've always been a very opinionated person.
Mm,
I'm very rebellious also to my family. Okay, not like really rebellious. I just like to argue a lot. I'm very hot-blooded, I would say, but I'm very opinionated. So
mhm.
I guess that kind of like followed suit in my content creation career. I started off with just like unboxing and opening content, but after realizing that it's not really sustainable for me in the long term, I was like, you know
Mm.
what? There was a certain situation that happened at one point, which I believe was the unlisted leaf StockX situation, and I was like, you know
Okay.
what? This is a very interesting topic that maybe I should do a video on it. I know it's kind of different than the normal content that I produce, but maybe it's gonna do something. And
Mhm.
well, that video actually got a lot of views at a certain point. So I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome. I guess all I have to do is say my opinion, and that's it. That's amazing. And then I made my Leonhardt video, and then yeah, I guess that's when it started all. I just said downfall of Leonhardt, and then boom.
Yeah. So, I think your Leonhardt video is honestly the first video I saw of yours when I came
Mhm.
across your channel back in the day. Um, I think that's the first one I saw, and I enjoyed it. And then I was like, all right, let me check out what other videos this guy has. And I remember how like I like your endings on your videos, how it has the little like anime song.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
used it used to have the dude with the little gun, and he's like, subscribe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the you OG, you know, you know.
Yeah. So I absolutely love it. But yeah, I checked out your channel and I was like, okay, cool. I like this, and you're one of the channels that like I consistently view when you release a new video. Like I'm like, okay, it pops up on my feed, and I'm like, let's check this one out. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's new. I feel like you're one of the go-to people for people in this hobby when they want to know what's going on in the hobby, what's the big deal, what is everybody talking about. I feel like you, Opossum Bud, sometimes Mimic Brew. Mimic Brew, I feel like sometimes he's like a little bit behind you guys. I feel like you know Possum Bud
Mm,
are like front and center, like the two most. But like you three are people that I think about. Shiny Vert as well.
mhm.
You're people that I think about that like, all right, they just came out with this video. That means something just happened. This is popping off. Let's look into it. Let's see what's going on. I
I
like how you
appreciate it. That means a lot. It truly means a lot.
yeah, and I like how you include like snippets of videos and stuff, and like
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, you can go and check it out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
Wait, give me a sec. I have to charge my phone before it freaking dies. Let me see if I have time. It might die, honestly.
If it does, it's okay. We'll be ending it for technical difficulties if it dies.
All right, let's see here. Lower down the brightness. All right, we'll see if it'll. My audio
Alright.
might be a little bit worse, but
But yeah, but going back to it, and then touching on the point that I just made, how you're basically on the forefront. You're always like one of the first to like get to break the news on something that's occurring.
Mhm.
How do you do that? Like, how do you usually beat everyone to the punch and find out what's going on and and create the video? And I mean, the whole just creating a fucking video, man. You got to
Yeah.
edit it, you got to make sure it's trimmed correctly, you got to make sure everything looks fucking right, and then you got to upload it, so that's its own fucking thing, and you still beat
Yeah.
everybody by like days, bro. So again,
Well,
props, my
I
dude,
appreciate it.
props.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I used to do like I used to script my videos and like have like a general, thing of what I wanted to say. Nowadays, I kind of like I just raw dog it. I just like turn on a camera. I say, okay, I'll just talk in the camera. I'll speak my opinion on a certain topic. Sometimes I still do. I like write down notes of what I kind of want to say. But then after I record the video, I just do, like an hour or two of editing,
Mhm.
and then they're posted from there. But I think nowadays, especially, I'm definitely a lot more faster due to the fact that I'm not really planning about it too much.
Okay.
Obviously that comes with drawbacks. Obviously I feel a lot better, and am able to convey my thoughts more accurately through like text. I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of like the main thing for me. But it's definitely have been a learning curve of like kind of trying to teach myself to just talking to in front of a camera instead of like in front of a camera and also looking out of a script. So it's definitely been a little bit challenging to adjust to that. But yeah, it's definitely been a lot faster right now because it's a lot more low effort, I would say, or at least it takes a lot less to produce the
Well,
content.
yeah, I was about to say low effort, dude. Your last video where Rock finally got canceled by
Yep,
himself.
by myself. Yeah,
Yeah, get into that. Tell people about that video. Tell us about everything that went behind creating that video, because honestly, I feel like you basically went, this is how it is, man. These are the levels. This is
yeah,
where this level is. This is where this level is. It's no longer blurred lines.
yeah,
Like, and I feel like it's needed. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because I do feel that it is something that a lot of people misview. Like
yeah,
they might say you're this, but in reality, I know why you're mad, because this shares this tendency with this,
yeah.
but it's a little bit different because of this end result. So
Yeah,
again,
well, I will say, like, I did a video before that one, which pretty much insinuated that this person was a scalper. And after some reflection, I kind of realized, well, that's not really accurate. If you actually look at the terms and actually the description of this, the meaning of a scalper, and I felt like,
mhm,
well, before anybody even says anything, before like I even get flack for it, I'm just gonna make a video about it
yeah,
because I'm the only one that's able to cancel myself. Because obviously I could have easily brushed it off, not talked about it, and everybody would chill. Nobody would really call me out for it. But
hmm,
I felt for like the integrity of my channel, I wanted to have like some sort of clarification because I also think that it's a good conversation to have because a lot of people tend to associate scalper, investor, reseller to be the same thing, but I
yeah,
don't really necessarily think that's the case. If they were the same thing, then why are those terms exist in the first place? They obviously have slight differences, which I thought was imperative to kind of brush over. So that's kind
hmm,
of what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about, well, this is a reseller, this is a scalper, this is an investor. They have different meanings. Now you could have your own personal, I guess, idea or an emotional argument of, are the impacts kind of the same? If you're reselling something and if you're scalping something, is there really any difference? Is the outcome going to be anything, is
hmm.
it really anything morally less or great? That's completely up to the individual because, morality is a little bit subjective. But
It's it's
I
true.
think yeah, it just goes person to person. But I felt like one thing that is not subjective is the meaning behind these different terms, and I often saw a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people kind of associate these different terms as the same thing, which I just don't think is accurate. And it's something that I even made a mistake on, which I thought was more telling that, hey, I gotta I gotta fix my own self. I gotta remind myself that these are not the same thing. Now, even though it could have like the same moral result, maybe
Mhm.
those two things are equally as bad, but that's not really the argument that I was proposing. It was more or less to say that, hey, these are two different things. How you view them obviously are going to also be subjective. But if you're talking about something, you need to get the facts straight. I also need to get the facts straight. So that's kind of like the whole concept of it.
Yeah. No, that's great, and I like that because I like how you brought up the subcategories because it feels like a lot of stuff is always a us versus them,
Yeah.
this versus that. It feels like it's a collectors versus money driven person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when it's a money driven person, it's like how and why are they driven by money?
Mm.
Because there is different aspects to that. Because
Yeah.
if you just look at it as collectors versus someone that's money driven, then what about the retail stores? Because they're money driven.
Yeah.
And if they don't exist, then the collector doesn't exist because the hobby is not around because there's no one to buy from.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
get me? So it is an ecosystem. You get me? And in the ecosystem, you do have the two main camps, which I do believe is collectors versus people that are money driven. But then you have all the little subcategories.
Yeah.
Because with the collectors, we know how collectors always like to argue among themselves. Well,
Yeah.
I'm a master set collector. Well, I'm just a species collector. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just a collector of all things Pikachu, no matter what. Or I'm
Yeah.
just a collector of this, collector of that. But at the end of the day, it's that's all part of that same camp because no matter how you collect, they're all like, but if it's not for all the guys who are in it for the money, I'd have
Yeah.
whatever I want, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's not for the guys who are in it for the money, then the things don't get sold.
Yeah.
You get me? And packs aren't opened, those chase cards aren't pulled because the stores themselves back in the day, before people did rip and ships and stuff like that, if you wanted singles, you go to the store. That's where the guy he buys the singles, sells them back to other people that want them. Like you get me? Like it's all an
Yeah.
ecosystem. You
Yeah.
need that in place for the collectors to go and acquire the cards that they're needing
Yeah.
to complete their sets, to complete their collections.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole concept of money driven, I could definitely understand that, and it's very true. There's also a subcategory of collectors who are money driven as well, who only collect
Hmm.
stuff that are worth a lot of money. And
That.
some would suggest that is even worse or just as bad as people that are in it just for the money for profit. I feel
Hmm.
like that's definitely an argument that could be made. But aside from that, just the whole reason for like that video was just to kind of clear the air of
Hmm.
these conflicting terms because uh it's something I also kind of fell into, and I felt like it just needed some clarification. Obviously, at the end of the day, it is going to be a subjective, I guess, case because
Yeah.
it, it all comes down to how the person actually views the like what a reseller is doing versus a scalper. It's very subjective.
Hmm.
But I think again, what is not subjective is what these different terms actually mean, the description, the definition of
Yeah.
them. And regardless of who you are, what your opinion is about these topics, you always want to be accurate. And after you are accurate about the terms that you're using, then you could state your opinion. And
Yep.
that's kind of like what my whole point was in the video.
Yeah. I enjoyed that video, man. I liked it, and I got a real laugh out of it, man. I like how you usually start them off with a zinger. You usually start it off with something that hooks you in there, makes you laugh, gives you a good little chuckle, and it's like,
I
all right,
appreciate it.
let's get ready. What are we gonna hear about today, man? So it was amazing, dude.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's see. Going forward with the Pokemon TCG, what are the things you're most excited for with the rest of this year? We're not really thinking next year or anything like that, but just for the remainder of this year in the Pokemon TCG space, what are some of the things you're most excited for?
Well, definitely Card Party 3, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Aside from that, though, I don't know. I guess keep producing content. I'm always excited to do that and never get sold, to be honest. Just meeting more people, pursuing my card prison business. Definitely excited for the Wave 3 release. But yeah, just enjoying this hobby. I don't really plan out things. I just like to go with the flow, and I feel like that suits me best. I like to just ride the wind pretty much. And I feel like a lot of people tend to take this hobby a little too seriously. Um, even though I make drama videos about people, I mean I take this hobby pretty seriously, I guess. But I always like to remind myself that yeah, it's just a hobby, man. You just don't have to take it too seriously. So yeah, I'm really excited for like the whole year to be just everything. I just like collecting, doing videos, card prison, card party 3. I'm just excited for everything.
Nice, nice. Any possibilities you're going to Pokemon Worlds or not this year?
Where's that again? Is that in
Anaheim, California.
yeah, oh man, it might be a little too far for me because I live in Florida, so there's
Yeah,
definitely a ways for me there, but most likely, probably not, if I
yeah.
would have to guess.
And I think next year it's in San Francisco, California as well. So two
Oh
years
wow,
in a row for
California is just getting everything. Jeez.
California. Everything except card party.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, I guess I mean I would just I mean Florida got card party 2 times.
Twice.
Orlando then Tampa, so
Yeah.
can't really say that.
Yeah. Well, some people initially thought, what if California gets it again? When they initially said Pacific Northwest, some
Yeah,
people were like, what if it's like in the tip of California or something, like if it goes back? And I don't know, like it would have been like maybe because two
yeah,
times in Tampa, I mean 2 times in Florida. That way it would have been 2 times
yeah,
in Cali. But nah, it's a little more further up north.
yeah. It's a little further up north. I actually lived in Seattle for a little bit when I was younger. It's definitely an interesting place.
Well, I guess that could be the final thing that we touch on for today. That's actually the last thing that piqued my
Yeah.
interest. You did state that you moved a lot because you
Mhm.
guys were looking for the golden place, the place that all right, this is what we want. This is where we want to stay, where we like it the most,
Yeah.
right? Um, Tell us about that journey. I mean, what are some of the places that you have moved to? What has that been like? You get me? Because that
Yeah.
that that's like that's a whole conversation in itself, dude.
Yeah, man, I gotta say it was definitely a huge experience for me. I gotta thank my mom and my dad because even though we would be like pretty broke at a certain period, we would still travel. Like there was one time where we were traveling inside of a Cooper car, which is just a 4-seater. There was I had my family had 3 brothers, 1 sister in one car with my parents in a 4-seater, which is just absolutely brutal. But
Yep.
it was it was really fun as well. I got to experience so many different things. I traveled all around Europe. I got to see my mother's homeland, Lithuania.
Mhm.
Lived there for a little bit. It was pretty fun. Went to Scotland, Switzerland, all like the major European countries. Stopped by Germany. Just traveled pretty much everywhere. Honestly, in Europe, I never really dived too much into Asia. Probably
Mhm.
just because we it would be a little bit difficult to adjust to the culture and
Mhm.
the language barrier. Because even in like Europe, I feel like a lot of people know English, so it's probably a
Yeah.
little bit easier for us. And then we went to other places like Australia. We lived in Australia for a little bit. We went to New Zealand. Australia was definitely an interesting place because at the time it was actually pretty. I liked Australia at the time. Right now, not so much, but at the time it was really fun. It was definitely one of the most memorable places that I've been. Surprisingly, not like,
Okay.
even like with towers, Switzerland and all those other countries. But maybe it's because I was slightly older in Australia, so the memories are more vivid. That's probably
Oh,
has something to do with it. But Australia was really fun. And then after Australia, we went back to the US after traveling everywhere in the US, but we went back to the US and,
uh-huh.
we've moved to Illinois.
Mhm.
And that's where I kind of grew up in, I would say, for the rest of my life for the past like 6 7 years. I'll travel through Illinois, all these different places, and while we were in Illinois, I probably moved out like 4 times.
Ooh.
So to different houses in the span of like 4 years. So every year we would move pretty much to a different house. So that alone was incredibly difficult because we had a lot of luggage and stuff to move. It was not fun. Then we moved to Chicago,
Mm.
which was definitely a it's an interesting place. I like Chicago, and
I've
also
heard
like the house that
stories.
we, yeah, and also like the house that we had there was definitely nice. But then we decided to move to Florida after my mom and dad decided to visit there, and they're like, you know what, this is the place that we want to go. We want to go to this small little part in Florida, and we think that it's going to be the best place for us after moving to countless countries, countless states. We said this is the place, and I feel like we're practically stable. We're like,
All right.
I feel like we've kind of found the place that we kind of want to be. And yeah, Florida is just amazing. It's very upbeat. I think the vibes are very very nice and welcoming. That's
Nice.
something that I had a big issue with Chicago. Was it was just very gloomy. It just I don't know. It was very cold as well, just gloomy, cold, and it definitely festered it's an unhealthy mental state, especially for my family.
Mhm.
And when we traveled to Florida, I mean, instantly it was just a completely different vibe. My family started being more healthier, more active, losing weight, and etc. And
Nice.
yeah, we finally kind of like found a place to call home.
That's amazing. Two questions that stem there in Florida. How's the weather? Has the weather been good in the part of Florida you're at, or have you had any crazy hurricanes, crazy
No,
experiences with the weather yet?
it's crazy because like we're positioned in a place where we practically get no hurricanes. Like the Category 5 hurricane that hit Florida, we completely missed us. Like
Nice.
it did not hit us at all. We live on the east coast of Florida,
Okay.
so I feel like they tend to get hit a little bit less.
Hmm.
But besides from the hurricane, 5 hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane that hit, but we were just under it, which was pretty good. But the weather is really nice. I mean, some say it's a little too hot. I kind of disagree with that. I mean, you just got to get used to it. The same way if I moved back to Chicago, it would be very cold.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just all comes down to getting used to the place. If you live in Florida, you know, it's gonna be all right. If you're visiting, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit hard, but yeah, weather's really good, honestly.
And then where you're at, do you get gators? Have you ever had any experiences with gators there, or not really?
It's funny because like I probably only saw a gator 2 times while I was in
Oh.
Florida, and I've been here for like what 2.5 years, maybe 3 years at
Yeah.
this point. It's crazy if I think about it. Like I want to see more gators out in the wild. I think I saw a gator swimming in the ocean, which was pretty crazy. It's like saltwater
Ooh.
gator. Was I don't know.
Dang.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But
That's
aside
crazy.
from that, maybe one time when I was on a golf course or something,
Oh,
and that's pretty
oh,
much it.
dang.
Yeah,
It was just coming out like on the green. Uh.
not on the green. They would kind of be. You kind of see them in the like pond or lake.
Oh, okay.
So they're just chilling. Maybe you could see one on like the green at some point or like the fairway.
Mhm.
But aside from that, I haven't really seen it too often.
Damn, that's crazy, man. I think gators are scary as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Yeah, they're a bit scary.
Yeah.
I would say they're probably a little bit scarier than sharks, objectively. Maybe like physically, sharks are a little scarier, but objectively, like gators tend to be a lot more aggressive, and they
Mhm.
pose a little bit more harm than
Yeah,
sharks do.
yeah. And they're dinosaurs. They are. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
pretty
Like
much. Yeah.
Straight up. So I think dinosaurs are terrifying. If Jurassic Park were a real thing, I'd be like, nah, we're cooked, fam.
Oh man, I would say the same thing, dude. I would say time to drop a nuke.
Right? It's oops, we have to start over now.
Oops, guess we gotta start civilization over again, folks. We had a little mishap when
Yeah.
these gators evolved.
And then the third question I had, since you're there in Florida, have you ever had any experiences with what they call the Florida man?
Oh, you know what? I have, and it's me. I'm the Florida man.
Uh,
I'm the Florida man. I do crazy stuff. I'm just joking. I barely get out of the house. But maybe a few, crackheads or something. You're like, hey, what are you doing? Oh. But aside from that, nothing really too crazy. It's the Florida man is actually a lot harder to actually encounter. That's kind of my goal is to actually encounter more Florida mans. It's kind of entertaining.
uh, he's like Bigfoot. It's a legend. You hear about him,
Exactly.
and many people say they know someone that knows him, but nobody really sees him. At least
That's what
not,
I'm saying.
you know, not face first.
Exactly. You may see like a few videos about them, but you rarely experience it firsthand.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. I'm super happy to hear that you love it there. I'm glad to hear that, since you have moved around practically everywhere, that is the golden place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's nice to find that spot where all right, this is it. We're happy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that
Very,
peace,
very.
that zen. That's
Yeah.
that's amazing, dude.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I see one of your neighbors, another person from Florida. He's here in the chat. Ultimate Pack Battles. What's up, UPV?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for now, that's pretty much all of the questions I have for today. I think we actually took a deeper dive into everything than I thought we would, and I do want to say it was an absolute pleasure having you here. I'm not gonna hold you much longer. I know we went slightly over an hour and a half. I feel this is a perfect time to end it, so I'm just gonna ask you, is there anything you would like to tell the crowd or the viewers who are going to watch this later? Any last message for people?
Well, first off, thank you so much for the welcoming podcast. I really enjoyed it. Always a pleasure talking with you. So really appreciate the invite. And yeah, nothing much. If you want to check out my content, make sure you go to my YouTube channel. If you want some really nice binders, go to cardprison.com. Wave 3 coming soon. And yeah, just really appreciate the offer. Thank you everybody for watching. Really means a lot. And I'll see you later, weaves.
All right, bye, everybody. I'll be back on Wednesday.
See ya.